Let's talk rangefinder stem and rangefinder viewer and all of its parts. When you print the rangefinder out, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. If you decide you want to use the magnet, this section here will actually separate from the model the same way the supports will. I have decided that I prefer to use the threaded insert with the screw, because then I can control how tight the rangefinder hugs up against the helmet, and that actually helps with keeping it upright, giving it enough tension to where it's not going to just flop forward. If you do want to go with the magnet, then this piece gets removed, and that is right in here. This is where we install. Both types get a second magnet, which goes right here, and this is where the cover of the rangefinder goes, and it is magnetically attached. So we do need a magnet here. When you print this out, it's going to be hollow. There'll be a couple of options. I am going to provide a printable core that you can just glue into there if you do not want to have a hollow core that you can run wires up. If you have no plans of ever lighting up your viewer body or putting anything into your screen here, then a solid core is going to be fine. So we're gonna put this together with the brass. The plastic parts will be exactly the same in terms of assembly. So obviously we install the threaded insert in here, and this takes a 16 millimeter screw when you install it. So we'll go ahead and I'm not going to glue these in. This is going to be for a customer, so I don't glue the brass in. I let the customer do that, but you'll probably want to do it unless you're making one for a customer, in which case I would recommend not gluing it in. Just cut it to the right size. So the way you can cut it is you can install your brass. This is K&N or K&S. I don't know what the part number is, but it is a 3/16 square brass tube. All right, and you can get it from them. You can get it from Ace Hardware. You can also get it from Hobby Lobby, and you can get it from Amazon or eBay. So I'm going to try ordering it directly from K&S next time, because I think that might be better. So again, you insert your brass in, and it's going to be about 1 foot long when you get it. And just put this in, flip it over, and then I have a saw that I like to use. This little X-Acto saw, razor saw. And so if you imagine the brass is sticking out, you know, you've got too much of it, just basically take your little saw and just mark it. That's all you got to do. And then take this out, and you can use the saw to cut it. And you don't even have to cut all the way through. Once you get through this first top wall, you can actually just snap it. Brass is soft enough to where you can do that. But make sure you clean up the ends with a file, because they can be sharp and you don't want to cut yourself, and you certainly don't want your customer to get cut if you're happening to make a helmet for somebody. You get your 2 brass pieces, you install them. Obviously this has been sanded and it's got its first coat of primer on it. It's going to need some more. Now we have to install a 12 millimeter by 3 millimeter magnet. And I like to do that with the brass in here. So we're going to be careful with the glue so that that piece of brass can come out if it needs to, although it really doesn't. Also, the back side of this knife here, just to kind of help level it out a little better. And then once I got it to where I like it, I'm going to take the flip side here and just kind of go through it to kind of knock down any high spots or anything that might be sticking up, little errant pieces of plastic that we might have pulled up when we were braiding. Blow it out, that looks good. And now we'll get a 12 by 3 millimeter magnet, and that is these guys right here. And you can check that just by fitting it in there. That's how it goes. Now, there will be another magnet involved that this connects to, and this is going to be the 15 by 2 millimeter. And we're actually going to use 2 of them. I don't have any need for 15 by 4 millimeter, but I think you can get them. So if you don't want to use two of these, I use these 2 millimeter ones all the time, so I keep them handy. And it turns out that this part needs two of these. We're going to start with the 12 millimeter. We can put it in any direction we want, so I'm going to go ahead and just pick a surface and abrade it. And then we'll clean it up. We don't even have to take the magnet off. Alright, that looks pretty good. So now we'll set this down because we do want to kick it with some kicker. Alright. So now we're going to just put a little bit of glue in here on this part right there and a little bit right there. And some of the glue will get onto the brass, but it's really not a big deal. And in fact, let's just go ahead and put some on there so it's really good. And then we just put this magnet in the same way we did with the other ones. And we're going to just hold it in place. Give the accelerator a chance to do its work. That's in there. So now, since we're on this, we're going to go ahead and put the 15 by 2 millimeter in. So we'll just take the stack, or part of the stack, and we just need to figure out which direction we need to go. So that's repelling. I can feel it. You can feel it pushing away. So this side's going to be attracting. Yep. So this surface here, oh, that's actually 15 by 3s. Ooh. No 15 by 3s in here. All right, so now we're just down to 15 by 2s. This is the side that we're going to abrade because it's going to glue. This side is going to glue into here like this. Now obviously we're not going to have all these magnets on here, but this is the surface. And we'll double check again. The thing with magnets is you want to just double and triple check to make sure you've got your orientation, your poles aligned correctly before you glue. You can salvage a mistake, but it's not easy, and sometimes you might lose a part. So if I got this right, when I put this abraded side towards this magnet, it should repel. And yes, it does. Okay, which is good because it's going to go in this way, so we're correct. We had to kind of do something else. So there we go. Now this hole is a little bigger in diameter than 15 millimeters. It's not a problem if you don't get it perfectly centered. Everything's going to work exactly the same. So now let's see if we can get these guys out of here. Okay, perfect. So we got one 15 by 2 in there, and we're going to actually just go ahead and drop in a second. And that's done.